Welcome back to the Awakening Potential Show. It's your gateway to the extraordinary. I'm your host, Karen Rudolph, and I'm here to support you in stepping into your sassy confidence, your classy wisdom, and your bold, badassy brilliance. Because awakening your potential isn't just a moment, it's a movement. Here we dive into powerful stories, soul-stirring tools, and game-changing strategies that spark transformation in your life, in your work, and the world around you. So grab a notebook, open your heart, and let's light the inner spark. Today, I'm beyond excited to introduce someone who truly embodies this journey. Our guest, Michelle Angiolillo. Forgive me, I forgot
It's
pronounce
it's a tongue twister. Angelillo.
Angiolillo. Forgive me, I was going to ask that before. I always Good thing we're all natural.
No worries. I mean, it took me a while to be able to say that.
I love it. Thank you for correcting me in that. Uh, Michelle Lee is an award-winning certified bank coach. I can't wait to get into that and share that with you. She's a keynote speaker and number one best-selling author with over 30 years of success in corporate sales and direct selling. She skyrocketed her startup to over $2 million in under 3 years and credits the bank methodology, not just for her business success, but for transforming her relationship with her son. And I'm sure other relationships as well. Driven by purpose, Michelle empowers others to unlock financial freedom, deepen relationships, and live fully aligned lives. I just love that. Welcome, 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 Michelle. I'm so excited to have you here.
Oh, Karen, I am honored to be here. So thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely, absolutely. Before we get into the nitty-gritty of all of your successes, let's go back in time. Like, where were you years ago? I always ask this question because one of the things that I've noticed more so as a show host and just have a person is I notice a lot of people when they're living their true passion and living into their mission, it's tied to something they played with as a child. Do you find that to be true? And if so, like, what was it that you found yourself doing years ago?
Oh, wow. Well, as a child, I didn't have a voice. So I
Mhm.
was very quiet and lived in a very dysfunctional family.
Mhm.
Um, and I believe that everything that happens, things don't happen to us, they happen for us, and they push us onto our mission and purpose in life. And so I believe all the pain that I went through my entire life is my purpose now. So I've been through a lot of things. Like the world was really pretty much kicking my ass my whole life. And I just kept getting back up. But there were many times that I really didn't want to. I just wanted to crawl under a rock and stay there.
Yeah, let's talk about that for a moment because you and I met, it's just interesting because we met through the bank system, which we'll talk about afterwards. But there was something about you that really called to me. And kindred spirit, I said that earlier, it's almost like a kindred spirit because I see me in you is more like it. And the same thing, had all of that going on. And yet, people like us, we just keep keeping up, getting up, dusting ourselves off, and keep on keeping on. What was it that had you, I'm curious, get up and keep on keeping on, when you were knocked down so many times? Because part of the listening audience, I'm sure, is going through whatever trials and tribulations they're going through. And perhaps through our stories, we can lift them.
Well, it was a learning experience, and it took me a long time to really even connect the dots and understand. So it was kind of like I believe God was just picking me back up and pushing me through these things. And it wasn't until I started learning about personal development, because I didn't even know what that was.
Me either, yeah.
And my journey led me into it through the direct sales piece of where I stumbled, right? And until that point, I had no idea what personal development was. I was like, okay, I'll give it a shot. What does this even mean? And it was just at the right time, and everything kind of came together. And that's where, prior to that, me getting up every time was out of anger, right? And more of a point of, I'm going to prove people wrong,
Mhm.
which was the wrong way to go at it.
Right.
But it got me up and moving. Once I started diving into the personal development piece, my life actually turned really bad. And I actually like hit rock bottom. And I actually got a tattoo that says God has a plan. And
Mhm.
that's when I tattooed it on my arm,
Yeah.
because everything was crumbling around me. And I knew that I had a bigger mission on this planet, and that all of these things were happening. And in the moment, I was like, this is not, God has a bigger plan for me. This is not the way my life is supposed to be. And
Exactly.
if I just keep getting up and showing up and pushing through whatever is coming at me, there's something bigger on the other side.
Absolutely. Talk more, if you would, about the personal growth and development, because to me, that's what awakens our potential, truly. It's knowing yourself. See, Shakespeare talked in 1533 in the play Hamlet, to thine own self be true. And that's also biblical as well. Did you find doing the personal growth and development really awoke and began to awaken the potential within yourself?
Absolutely. And it was one of the things I fought the most.
Yeah, me too.
It was, and I can remember that I was like, why are they asking me these things? Why am I doing this thing? Like, I was fighting it so
Yeah,
badly. And I can remember um even going through, we had to go through Brene Brown's, one of her courses. And I was blown away at one piece of it, because we had, like, there was a list of all of these different emotions, and there was tons of them. And I was
yeah,
like, this is fascinating. I only thought there was like three, right? Anger, happiness, and sadness. Like, that was the only emotions that I like related to. And I was like, wait, joy? Like, so I was blown away at just that little piece, because it opened my eyes up to an entirely different world.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. And as a result of that,
As a result of that, uh, and again, I fought the course the whole time, until there became a piece where my eyes kind of just opened, and that gave me, it was like it opened my heart.
yeah,
And I took down the walls that I kept building.
right.
But the personal development piece doesn't end. Like, you
Right.
need to keep doing it.
Hmm.
We can always be better than we were yesterday.
Exactly.
And that's when I think things shifted, when I started looking at it as, I just want to be better than I was yesterday.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I love that because like you, when I was doing my personal growth and development work as well, I remember the lesson from everything is a lesson. And I remember doing the personal growth and development in people's faces going, you can't make me, and I don't want to do this. And it was so, I mean, I look back on it now and I had a laugh, but in the moment, people would roll their eyes and go, oh, here comes a newbie.
Yeah, for sure. I can remember being so angry, like getting off the call, going outside, like, why are they asking me these questions? I remember my one, she was my upline in the direct sales business, right? She asked, I was driving home, and we used Voxer. And
Yeah,
so she's Voxering me, and she's asking me my why. She's like, well, why do you want to do this? And like, I would spit out an answer, and she'd ask me again. And I was like, why is she asking me these? Why does she keep? I just gave her an answer. I pulled off the side of the road, and I'm sitting in this parking lot, and I'm literally like angry, and every time I'm going in, and then finally, like, I just burst into tears. And I
yeah,
was like, oh my gosh, this is why. And it was to get to that point of having your why be so incredibly just on fire,
Yeah,
that burning inside your belly that
yeah,
gets you up every day, even when you don't want to show up.
yeah, exactly. Exactly. I love that. Yeah, and that's what it was for me. I remember getting on this little mini stage in front of like 800 people doing this, and I'm like, what am I doing here? Oh my God, and of course, fear of public speaking is like one of the biggest things in life, right? And what am I doing today, as a result of that, because I wasn't concerned about the audience back then. I was so nervous talking to them, pointing fingers at me, going, "Why are you doing it? What are you?" Who they asked me, "Who are you going to be?" And without stopping, I said, "I'm going to be love." And I was like, what does that even mean? But it just came out of my mouth. And then of course it went deeper into that, but every single thing I've done, and I don't know if this showed up for you as well, but as a result of that, every single thing I've done since has aligned with my mission. All the courses, all the people, everything that brought me to where I am today aligned with what came out of my, in the beginning was the word, right? So word creates reality. And it blows me away when I stop and I think about, wow, did you have a similar?
Oh, absolutely. And I had terrified of public speaking. Terrified. Like as a child, I would literally blow off school if I had to speak in front of the class. Like I was out the back door. I had wood shop. I would make like fake wood hall passes so that I could get out of whatever it is I was supposed to do. And now like I live for that. Um and so
Yeah,
it's the same thing. Being able to look back and connect the dots
yeah,
is just magical because now you can see it. In the moment, it's all coming at you so fast,
yeah,
but everything, there's a reason for everything.
yeah, exactly. Exactly. I couldn't agree more. And to me, that's where it started for me. And I'm so grateful looking back, because what we resist persists until we choose to change it, right? And I was resisting for years until I realized I'm my children's first mentor and teacher. And I was like, what am I teaching them as a victim? And oh my God, life is over. And, so,
Yep.
yeah. I'm sure to a degree it's relatable in some way, shape, or form. Yeah, human nature fascinates me, and this is what's taking me, part of what's taken me on my path. And I know you're on a similar path just because of your certification in the bank system, right? So leading up to you did the sales, you did your personal growth and development. Like, what happened after that?
Well, it's funny because it's all like this journey. So I had been in the corporate world for 28 plus years, and then I lost my job because the companies went bankrupt. And my
Mm,
friends who I was with also lost their job. That's when, at that point, I had to sell like everything. Trucks came in, auction guys. I was like, kids, if we're not using it, it's got to go. And it was one of the hardest things that I had to do because as a child, we moved all the time. And so I wanted, as an adult, to have a place that was like a home
right.
and have my kids grow up in the same place. And that was not the case. Right.
Yeah.
So in the process, I started a company in the food business. That's the industry I was in. I was drowning in debt. I was using credit cards to survive. And it was like I was beating my head against the wall. That's when I got into, by accident, the direct sales piece of it because my son had some issues and it helped him. Anyway, long story short, that's where I met Sherry Tree, was at a conference for that direct sales business.
Wow.
And she blew me away with what she was saying and her presentation. And that was going to be my out. I was going to do the direct sales business, and that was going to be my out to get out of the business I was in. And in the process, I ended up going through one of our coaching programs and training for my business to use bank in that and grow it and sell it and also help my direct sales business. And the first day, it absolutely blew me away because on the business end of it, I had just blown a deal for $180,000 that I needed more than air itself. And it was in minutes. Like as soon as the woman met me, she hated me. And I can remember before we left the house, my husband saying to me, "Are you going to wear that outfit today? Don't you have an important meeting?" And I was like, "Yes, I am. If she doesn't like me for my clothes, oh well." Literally the words I spoke out of my mouth, and I blew the deal.
Abracadabra, right?
Right, yes. And so I started into the program, and the first thing I learned about was the exact opposite code of me. And
So before you go on though, for your listening audience, because you mentioned, meeting and taking on the bank, well, at least explain what it is before,
so bank
for
is
the
reverse
audience.
engineered personality science. Sherry Tree is the creator of the methodology, and she wrote the book Why They Buy. So bank is an acronym for the 4 personality types. You have a blueprint, think of them inside the box. They value things like structure, stability, systems, planning, processes. They follow the rules. They plan everything in their life and they hate surprises. They're very business oriented, like stick to the agenda. If you're on time, you're late. Actions, they blew up the box like little firecrackers in your hands, right? The movers and shakers, the milkers. They're fun and freedom, flexibility, spontaneity, action. They get bored super easy. They can even be a little ADHD. So they're completely opposite than that blueprint. They talk fast, they act fast, they make decisions fast. They can be like on fire in your face. You hear them before you see them. Then we have the nurturing. They recycled the box. They're all about the love, teamwork, authenticity, personal growth, people, relationships. They made a little, Toys for Tots box out of their box. They're recycling it, giving everything away. They're like the people pleasers. Can't we all just get along? And then the knowledge, they're like, listen, without me, you wouldn't even have a box. I engineered it. Science, data, research, logic, it has to make sense. They're also a colder code. The key is that every single human, and even pets, has a code. And it's made up of all 4. It's the order that it's in that makes them the unique individual that they are, and each position means something.
Yeah.
So in the sales process, there's actually 24 different combinations, which is why mathematically people say sales is a numbers game. But it's not actually about numbers, it's about people and being able to communicate and connect. And that's what bank gives you.
Beautiful. So you said, thank you for explaining that. And I'm sure we'll go into it a little deeper afterwards, but you took on the bank, and how the bank system, I should say, and you're going through your business, and what shifted? Like what happened?
Well, I realized it's not personal, it's personality.
Mhm.
And although I thought I was really good with people, I was missing it, not just in business, but with every person that I came in contact with, and especially with my oldest son. He is the exact opposite code of me. So for 18 years, I literally stressed this child out to a point of him not even wanting to be in the same room with me. So just as I had started the program, he was on break from school and was at the house. And we got into a huge fight, and he wanted to go back to school. And it broke my heart. And that's when I started to learn about the different codes. So he had came home after our big fight, and I literally pulled out the 4 cards and I said, "Can you do me a favor?" And I asked him to sort the cards. And when he did, I lined up my code and his. And he immediately understood, like, wow, we just have 2 operating systems. I wasn't doing the things I was doing because I didn't love him. He wasn't doing the things he was doing because he didn't love me. It was just we were coming from different value sets.
Exactly.
And that's when the magic happened. because I thought I was being the best mom I could be, the best person I could be. And what I realized is I was looking at the world through very clouded lenses.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah. And then you woke up.
And then I woke up, and now we have the best relationship ever. And it's funny because once you understand each other's codes
Yeah.
in all your relationships, it becomes funny, right?
Yeah.
So like the things that he was so he got me a birthday present, and he was literally so upset that it wouldn't be at the house on time. It was coming early, but he wanted it there on my birthday. Well, that's the blueprint, right? And and for the life of him, the second code is knowledge. He couldn't figure out the logic behind why they couldn't deliver on my birthday. So he started doing research about why, because my birthday's on February 17th, so it fell on President's Day. And he was
Oh,
like, well, maybe it's because it's a holiday. And he went through this whole thing. And even on the card he sent me, he apologized for it not being delivered on my birthday.
yeah.
And I was like, it's just amazing how we start to, once you learn bank, you can't unlearn it. And you can start to see the world through other people's lenses, which is emotional intelligence.
Yes. Yes. Love it. I love that. I love that. So you've it repaired your relationship with your son in essence as a result of it. But then go back to business in a while, because I know it's all about relationship, and it's so interesting because being a people person myself, I have always, I've done disc, I've done all these other color coded ones as a creative, the creative problem solver. I've gone to a lot of creative problem solving conferences, and they're big into the colors, or for what was it, not Foursquare, I forgot the name of it. There's so many of them out there. But one of my go-tos has always been the five love languages, because we're all this, and it's the same for me. It's the bank, which just learning myself, relates very similarly. We're all four of them. It's just a matter of how we hire our, prioritize them. That's the word. And, so I'm pretty keen on people's love languages just by having conversations. And I'm excited, and this is what's exciting me, is to learn like how it translates into bank. So that's really good. But I'm more curious on your journey, how not only in relationship, how it's enhanced your relationships, not just with your son, but with others, with potential clients. And, I mean, God, girl, you did $2 million in under 3 years. Like, hello.
So can I touch on the love languages piece first? Because this is super
Please, of
interesting, right?
course, of
And
course.
actually, there's even a whole course that is that's available about the love languages, because it takes it and puts it on steroids. And
Really.
here's why. Each code requires something different when it comes to the love languages. So if you look at gifts, for
Yeah.
instance, right? Each code wants a different type of gift.
Oh,
So my husband is complete opposite of me. He's nurturing blueprint, action knowledge, right? So his blueprint is very high. So for a gift one year when we started dating, I sent him a garage, a physical garage. I flatbedded it to New York. I'm in Pennsylvania, he's in New York. I thought, oh my gosh, this is the best gift ever. He collects cars, he doesn't have a garage at his house. Like, I think big, right? So I call him up the day before and I'm like, hey, honey, can you be home to get your gift? He was like, I'm working. Blueprint, creature of habit, schedule, right? I said, well,
yeah.
you kind of have to be there because you're going to need to tell him where to put it, and like you have to sign for it and all this. He goes, well, what is it? I said, it's a garage. And he said, how much did it cost? I said, it was a gift. That's the great thing about gifts. It didn't cost you anything.
Right,
And he
exactly.
goes, what if I need a permit? Rules, blueprint rules. I was like, um, I really didn't think that far into it. He goes, I need to build a foundation. It needs to be level. There needs to be gravel. Like he started the worst gift I could have ever given him. He learned to love it. He loves it now. And it's very organized. However, the initial response was not good. And even with my oldest son, I would get him designer labels, top of the line. Blueprints don't like those types of things at all. So that's just one example of how you take the love languages, even acts of service.
Yeah.
Each one requires something different.
I'm glad you put that in because that's an interesting thought. You know, before the call, you and I were talking about different clothes, right? How it just is blowing me away at how much you can really utilize this on so many different levels. So I am so excited about this one. But
Absolutely.
but you talk about you.
Well,
I'm just excited. My little girl is coming out on the side going, possibility.
it's fascinating how deep it goes,
Yeah.
right? And it's all based on your values.
Yeah. Yeah.
So in the business world, the $180,000 deal I blew, I was able to go back and land. Ended up being $250,000.
Oh, sweet.
I just came into it and spoke the woman's language.
Mm.
Instead of giving her the chit chat and the friendliness and the warmth, right? She was from the two codes that are more the head code, not the emotional code. So I went in with the agenda, with the information. I only answered questions when she asked them. I followed the rules, right? So when you have that information, it changes everything from how you lead, from how you train, from every conversation that you have. Because now you're able to communicate in a way that person understands, and you're able to take your lens off because we filter how we hear things through our own code.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Wow. It blows me away because I really didn't realize how much I did that until I started the program. And I'm like, oh man, like I am so nurturer. I mean, yeah, but I didn't realize until you had said that, you know, you're also in because mine came up as uh, nurturer, knowledge, action. But yet when you looked at my profile, you're like, no, you're action. And I'm like, every time I do that during the test, it comes up something different. So I know I'm all of them. But then again, my score was pretty even across the board. So certain times I show up differently. So absolutely.
Yeah. So there's that advanced assessment where you can actually rate yourself out of the 25 points.
Yeah.
And the higher you are above 20, the more optimized. And it comes from all your experience with working with people
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
the personal development that you've done and all the knowledge you have.
Yeah. Yeah. Who would have thought? That's why I love like-minded individuals because I love having conversations and getting into people's worlds. So probably why I took on Awakening Potential as well because I'm meeting fascinating people. And it's just it's fun. It's fun. So what's next? You tell me, so you relationship with your son, you're now doing this, and then we'll get into your certifications and your book and all that good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just out there to make a bigger impact in the world. I want to connect and empower humanity and
Yeah.
give people the tools and training that they need so that things can be easier in their business, in their life, with their relationships. They can really become the best version of themselves.
Yeah.
Get rid of all the conflict. Like if we could just love more and judge less, imagine what the world would look like.
Okay, I get to do this now because that's me.
Mm.
I know. I am love. We are love, and we are just definitely out there to make a difference, right? And yeah, I really truly enjoy who you be. Um, Tell me a little bit about your book. You know, what's the name of it? And
So I'm actually one of the authors. There's 31 authors in here. So this is
oh,
Sherry Tree's the next book after Why They Buy. And you actually my picture's right there. So
oh,
it's called Make People Matter. And there are stories in here. It's like chicken noodle soup for the soul, bankified. And there's
Nice.
stories. My chapter is about me and my son. There is some business in there as well. But what I found so cool about it, it was the first book. I'm on, I think, number 3. And then I'll be doing my own book. But the chapter is chapter 13. And it was my first book. And my son's birthday is January 13th.
Mhm.
And I just found that so cool. And I was like, wow, well,
Never any coincidences. I
yep,
love that. I love
yeah.
that. I love that. Thank you for sharing that. And of course, all of Michelle's contact information and how to get a hold of her will be in the show notes as well. But, and I'm sure there's a link there as well. We will put in the link to the book if anybody's interested. But, yeah, so tell me more. Like, you obviously were fascinated with it. You went on to become a certified bank coach. What does that look like, and what does that do?
Yeah, so I actually became a certified coach and trainer. I'm a level 5, which is the highest certification you can get. And it really goes into mastering the skills, right? Everyone deals with people.
Mhm.
And when you can start to master the skills of understanding people and communication, that's when everything becomes easier in life.
Yeah,
And so each certification layers on one on top of the other. And then there's communication mastery as well as our coaching certification, which I do coaching programs that are 13 weeks and they go through the 6 intelligences. And again, each one's layered on top of the other to bring out the best in people, optimize them in their business and in their life.
nice, nice, very cool, very cool. So, for the listening audience, I like to ask the pearls of wisdom. Like, do you have any pearl of wisdom for anybody who's sitting on the fence and waiting to awaken their potential? What would you say to them?
Just start.
Yeah,
Don't wait. Once you have an open mind and an open heart, everything shifts.
yeah, absolutely.
So when you start looking at the world and the things that are coming at you, it's not happening to you, it's happening for you.
Amen. Mhm.
Learn a lesson from everything that happens. I go into everything looking at what went well, what
Yep.
didn't go well, and what could I do better.
I'm one of those people. I love it's I used to say to people all the time, like, what'd you learn from it? And they're looking at me like, what do you mean what I learned from it? Everything is a lesson. So knowledge is just knowledge until you apply it. If you don't apply it, it's just sitting there, And so I always say, what can I build with this? Okay,
Yeah.
this, right? So what can I build with this? What can I do with that? And then the curiosity and the wonder come out, and it's like, I want to play some more. So this has obviously been a huge major accomplishment in your life, discovering the bank system. What would you call like one of your the biggest challenges that you've had, and how'd you overcome that?
Oh, and growing in which piece? In all of my life?
Any
uh,
part of it.
the biggest challenge that I had, you know, actually, I would say my entire life, the biggest challenge I had was relationships. Understanding myself was a big piece. And bank gave me that eye-opening moment as well to understand that I'm not broken.
Yeah,
I show up a certain way because of the way I'm wired.
yeah,
And that's the first step, really, right? That's self-awareness. How do you show up? How are you wired? Even like I said, each position means something. So understanding how I showed up under stress and what I avoided was as important as understanding how I communicate.
yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So then in opposite, what's the biggest lesson in life you've learned?
The biggest lesson is embrace the suck. Just
Well
keep
put.
getting up and doing the things. Be consistent. Show up every day, even when you don't want to, because typically when you show up, even when you don't want to, that's when the magic happens.
Absolutely. Well put. Girl after my own heart. I know I like to. I love like-minded thinkers, it just really excites me and puts me up there, lifts me up there. So I know you have a gift for our listening audience. And why don't you tell them about it? Because it's going to be in the show notes as well. The link to it is going to be in the show notes. But go ahead and share what that is.
Well, my gift to everyone today is they can actually crack their code for free, and they will get you'll get a link and they'll be able to sort these 4 cards in order of most like them to least like them. And then they'll get a free report all about them and how amazing they are. And there'll also be an opportunity to go to a free masterclass.
Beautiful. Beautiful. And that's how I met you because I was so enrolled in hearing your story, in hearing about it, that I cracked my code. So it was like, yay. So
And
as
that's
I
how it
said,
all started.
and that's how it's all started, right? Well, and then some, and then some, and then some, and it keeps growing from there, which is really exciting. And then you get to meet really cool people, right? So it's a win-win-win for everybody. I love that. Michelle, it has been such an honor and such a pleasure having you here with us today. Thank you for taking your valuable time and being a part of it.
I am just honored to be here and grateful that we got to meet. And thank you so much for having me here.
Thank you. And for the listening audience, thank you so much again, Michelle, for sharing your journey and your insights with us. Your story is a beautiful reminder that transformation begins the moment you become aware and continues with those brave, badassy steps that you choose to take. So remember, the bridge from ordinary to extraordinary is built with small steps of change and big leaps of faith. So you are more powerful than you know. Keep showing up, keep rising, and keep awakening your potential. And if today's episode sparked something in you, feel free to reach out. You're going to get me, DM me. You get me, you don't get anybody else. And I answer all the questions. And I'm sure Michelle will be. I don't want to speak for Michelle, but perhaps maybe should be more than willing to answer your questions as well. So,
Absolutely.
yeah, reach out. I don't want to assume anything. But thank you for joining us. And until next week, make it a beautiful day. Bye for now.